The CBS 2 investigators and the Better Government Association have been warning about an apparent shortage of Chicago ambulances and paramedics.
The results, dangerous delays for patients needing emergency care. Pam Zeckman's here now with how the city is responding to this crisis. Pam.
Rob and Kate, the city seems to be trying to cover up the problem rather than to fix it. Meanwhile, ambulance response times seem to be getting worse.
Anybody available downtown that can take a run?
To the Harold Washington Library for someone reportedly having a heart attack. Minutes later, another emergency, and still all ambulances are apparently busy.
Anybody available downtown? Anybody want to go downtown on a run?
Calls paramedics say happen every day.
It's clear they have no ambulances, and it clearly validates what we've been saying, is that we need more ambulances.
But now city officials apparently don't want us or anyone with a scanner to hear those transmissions asking for help. They're telling dispatchers to watch what they say. A supervisor at the Office of Emergency Management wrote this memo saying shout-outs for any available ambulance are not an acceptable practice. Avoid terminology like we have no advanced life support ambulances available. The memo also concedes that at certain times we are inundated with runs and lack of resources. We obtained a copy of this memo that went out to the dispatchers after our first report.
Wow. I heard this existed, but I never seen it.
What do you think this amounts to?
Covering it up. They want to cover up the problem.
Instead of trying to muzzle the outcry, they ought to be listening to what it means and taking steps to fix the problem.
State standards require the fire department to provide advanced life support assistance within 6 minutes, and the city says it meets that standard. But as we disclose, all too often that's with a paramedic assigned to a fire engine that cannot transport the patient to the hospital. Now we've learned that it took about 26 minutes for this ambulance to get to a South Side home for an elderly woman having trouble breathing. An unacceptable response that's under investigation, according to the fire department. Worse yet, it took a dispatcher about 22 minutes to send Ambulance 52 to an elderly patient complaining of chest pains, and 11 more minutes for the ambulance to get there, a 33-minute response time.
The response times were unacceptable in our previous stories, and now they're totally intolerable, and it gets worse and worse.
An OEMC spokeswoman says the 33-minute delay was mostly due to human error and a high volume of calls. She also says the memo was simply a reminder to dispatchers about the approved radio protocols. The fire department says it's reviewing the deployment of ambulances to see if resources need to be reallocated, and it says additional paramedics will be hired. But Rob and Kate, we already know that those additional paramedics are just going to make up for all the overtime they're paying to the existing staff.
So is the city still not going to get more ambulances?
They're still saying or indicating that they don't think that they need the ambulances, and they're going to try to deal with what they have. It remains to be seen if that's the case.
The part about keeping the scanner chatter down seems a little unusual, doesn't it?
It's very unusual. It sounds like they're in trouble, and they are in trouble because they can't find an ambulance, and they don't want that to be known.
Thank you, Pam.
All right, thanks.